Press Club President Mark Hamrick is wrapping up the final weeks of his term, and he looked back on some of the memorable moments during the past year.
When I think back about my year as National Press Club President, probably the most important thing I think happened over the course of the year was, first of all, the fact that the club was the host venue for World Press Freedom Day. It was thanks to the work of our Executive Director, Bill McCarran, and my presidential predecessor, Alan Bjerga, that we hosted World Press Freedom Day here early in the year. It really touched me how these people all came together, all for this cause, at the National Press Club. It was important for the club, and it was important for the cause. I had the good fortune of hosting Ben Bernanke, the Federal Reserve Chairman, at my first NPC luncheon this past year. And it just so happened that it preceded a decision by the Federal Reserve to begin holding regular news conferences. And I was glad to have the opportunity to have some give and take with Chairman Bernanke, since he is a person who holds a great deal of power. And it also is the beat that I work on in my job at the Associated Press, and that I cover business and financial news. We had most of the candidates for the Republican presidential nomination appear at the Press Club this past year. The luncheon that we held with presidential candidate Herman Cain was quite remarkable. Politico's story exposing the fact that he had had some problems with allegations during his tenure with the National Restaurant Association. That news story broke the night before the luncheon. So this was his first opportunity, indeed our first opportunity, to pose questions to him about those allegations. So we had 40 television cameras in the room, and so there was a great deal of energy in the room as Herman Cain appeared. And an interesting line that I won't forget, he prefaced his remarks about those allegations with the phrase,
"I would be delighted to clear the air. I have never sexually harassed anyone, and those accusations are totally false."
Well, of course, he didn't put that issue to rest. Those allegations are what essentially drove him out of the presidential sweepstakes. A viral video had made the rounds a number of weeks before his appearance involving an earlier appearance at a press club, the Omaha Press Club in 1994, in which he sang. So I said, essentially, if you'd like to end the luncheon on a high note, if you'd like to sing, here's your opportunity.
He looked beyond all my faults and saw my needs. Thank you.
He spent part of the luncheon rebutting the allegations that there had been impropriety when he was at the Restaurant Association, but then he sang a song in which he essentially asked for forgiveness. Seems like an interesting juxtaposition. I was really happy that we could give the Fourth Estate Award to Jim Lehrer. We announced that he was going to be the winner of the Fourth Estate early in the year. He was so emotionally moved by that news, and I'll never forget that conversation. And of course, he was quite emotional at the dinner as well, because he was looking back on his many decades in the business and the many accomplishments that he has presided over. And he's been called the Dean of Presidential Debate Moderators for good reason. His professional presence is really unparalleled in the industry. At our National Press Club Awards ceremony, we gave a presidential citation to Richard C. Hottelet. He's the last surviving member of the Murrow Boys. These are the journalists that were hired by CBS News to cover World War II. We had a large multimedia presentation in the ballroom, and this included audio from his reports during the war, the invasion of Normandy, the Battle of the Bulge. And he strode up to the podium to accept the award. Everybody's giving him a standing ovation. And once the audience calmed down, he just looked out at the audience and he said,
"Thank you very much. I just want to tell you that I tried."
And it brought the house down. People were kind of at once impressed by the succinct nature of that comment and by also his humility. Here's a man whose journalistic accomplishments are unmatched, and the fact that he could talk about covering World War II all these many years later, and yet he did not want to pontificate on that. And I don't think any of his successors in broadcast journalism would have been nearly as succinct.